Punters and Dribbles, we spoke to Craig Bellamy the other day. Melbourne Storm Supremo coach.
Heard of him?
Ever heard of Craig Bellamy?
You ever heard of Craig?
Sorry, we're pairing Andrew Abdo into Craig Bellamy. Bellamy's got a new doco out on Stan. Not on Stan Sport, but just on the Stan.
On regular Stan.
On regular Stan. Which we watched the other day before our little chat with him. It's only about 10 minutes.
We got a screener.
We got a little screener. That's
the doco's not 10 minutes. Doco's about an hour and a half.
Doco's an hour and a half. The
chat you're about to hear is 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Thank you, Edward. But it was good. It was fun to have a chat with Craig. We had to fit in as much as we could into 10 minutes.
And I feel like we did okay.
I think we did. We got some laughs out of him.
We did. We got Craig laughing, which is always, a positive.
Yeah. You'll be able to watch the interview on YouTube. It'll be in the podcast, and we might even just put it up as a little standalone on YouTube.
I think we will, Tom. I think we should do that. But the doco's sick.
Yeah, it was really good. They basically document the whole of his last year, 2024, with the Storm.
And obviously,
season.
Obviously, the ending not what probably wanted.
As in they lost the grand final?
Correct. But it doesn't detract from the overall quality.
No, but it also provided, I don't know if I said it in the moment to you, but when the grand final, spoiler alert, Melbourne don't win it.
Are we giving that away?
Yeah. He comes onto the field and just hugs his granddaughter who's crying. I was sitting there, Eddie, in the other office up there, and I was choking back tears.
You didn't tell me that.
No.
Why?
Because
we share everything.
Yeah, well, we share a lot, but I was just trying to process my own emotions there.
Trying to be brave.
Yep. But it's a fucking good doco. And I mean, I'll never get sick of seeing the Storm lose, so there's that too if you hate the Storm. But Craig's a weapon.
Massive weapon.
The documentary is out this Sunday, March 9, on Stan, not Stan Sport, just the regular Stan. Now enjoy this 10 minutes with Craig.
Hey, Tom, Eddie, how you doing?
Yeah, we're doing well, mate. Nice to meet you. I like the subtle flex of the 2 premiership trophies behind you there. That's quite nice.
I was told to sit here.
Is this your office, is it? Is what we got here, the replica trophies. Mate, congratulations on the interview. It was the documentary. We just actually finished watching it before we jumped on here. It was fantastic. What's it like having cameras follow you around for the whole year? Is that a bit disconcerting?
Yeah, it's really difficult at stages. Like sometimes after a little while you sort of get used to it until you forget the camera's behind you or whatever, and then all of a sudden you turn around and the camera's in your face. Yeah. So I never really got comfortable with it. I suppose. And I think the other thing was having the microphone on me at times as well. Sometimes you forget you've got that on, then you start having the conversation about someone, and I shouldn't have said that.
Hot mic. How did you? How many times do you have to stop yourself from telling them to piss off?
Yeah, a couple of times. Like at times, you're sort of talking to someone, and then got over real close with the camera, and I say piss off, just like. Even though I had the microphone on, I kept forgetting about it at different stages. So I'd imagine if, like some of the stuff I said and got film sort of come on, that it might have a AO, what's known to it.
Well, it made for great watching. Now, one of the things I think we already knew about you, but it comes through in the documentary, is that you're a phenomenal man manager, and obviously you wouldn't have had the success you've had without being able to update, refresh, and be able to sort of connect with younger people, and in an employer sense, but as sort of like a father figure coach sense. Eddie and I have just very recently, our business has seen us start to manage other individuals, and we kind of felt like we'd be wasting our time if we didn't try and soak a little bit up some wisdom from you here. And I mean, what do you have any best practices for an employee doing the wrong thing? Are you lipping up straight away? Do they know when they've fucked up around Craig? Do you just go quiet? Do you scream at them? What should we do?
In the 20-odd years I've been coaching down here at the Storm, it's probably changed a little bit. I was fairly hot-headed a little bit as probably the first 12, 13 years, and I think I got that off my mum. She used to be nice and fiery, my mum. So I like just to tell them how it is, and I still really believe in being honest with people. So, but the thing that I've learnt to be a bit better at is to tell them in a more refined way, I suppose, without sort of being too abusive, and just explain and taking the time to explain why we don't want that behaviour, or we don't want to see that again. So I think as I've got a bit older, a bit more mature, and I think you basically got to do it with the generation today. I think going back 20 years ago, there was sort of the done thing, I suppose, to give to let someone know you didn't like that behaviour, so you give them a bait. But it's not in the in the diary anymore. It's you just got to explain. But I think at the same time you've got to be honest, and then have a discussion from there.
In the documentary, there's a fair bit of glazing of Josh King, one of the greats, and he sort of was picked. He speaks about how he was picked up from Newcastle and he was unwanted, and the great Craig Bellamy, yourself, you see something in Josh that others don't. We're looking to employ someone soon. Is there any words of wisdom you can give us in like how you can identify talent that no one else wants?
Oh, I don't know. I just get going on with Kingy. I obviously seen him play. We played Newcastle, and we do our reviews on Newcastle. And the thing I noticed about him, he was just not that he didn't score any long distance tries or hit anyone and send them into the second row of the grandstand or anything like that. But he just done a lot of the little things really well. The little things are putting pressure on the opposition. So I thought we could certainly do something with him, and because like usually those guys, they've got a good work ethic, but they've got a real genuine care for their teammates, and they haven't been a gifted young player, so if they've got to that level, they've had to work for it, and he knew that if he didn't put the work in, he wasn't going to be the player he was capable of being.
But are you looking at that? So are you saying, we use Newcastle here as the Josh King example, and you're going, look, here is an objectively inferior club to me and to the Melbourne Storm, and I'm just seeing them not get it. They don't get it. They've got Josh King right here, and they're fucking wasting him. He's played 3 games, and are you just licking your lips? You're just like, quick, someone get onto him.
Well, no, not like at the end of the day, we've got players from everywhere. So I think we just go to the individual here, and King. We can see that he had a good attitude about him, and like I say, he wasn't going to score a 100-metre try for us, but like I say, he was going to turn up in places to do the right thing at the right times, and that's why we showed some interest in.
Has there been many players that you've ummed and ahed about and passed on that you've just regretted?
Oh yeah, over the years there would have been. I actually sort of can't, and and there's some that we're signed that we've regretted as well. So I could probably remember them more so than the other, but we've certainly made mistakes in our time without a doubt. But I think as I say, one thing we try and do is make sure we do our homework first, and then go from there.
On the scale of like difficult things to try and get a team to do or get individual players to do, how hard is it as a coach to stop your wingers from jamming in defence?
It's still impossible these days. They want to go and crash someone, but I think different systems, for different clubs and different teams, but also you've got to let the players sort of, if they think that's the right decision, well, you go and do it. Just do what you think's the best thing for the team. But wingers these days, I don't know whether they're much like the old days when I used to play. Wingers used to basically their tackle count was 0 for 4 or 5 games in a row. But they were there to get the ball when there was a bit of space, and they had a bit of pace, and they used to score the tries for you. But there wasn't too many of them that were good defenders. But these days they're expected to make tackles, so that's why they're probably jamming, and they probably hope they missed actually most of the time. So
we one of the big sort of themes in the doco is is a Melbourne Storm pre-season. A few of the players say that a Melbourne Storm pre-season is the only time they just want to stop playing rugby league. Do you love putting the boys through their paces? Like, are you getting off on watching them do their third or fourth hill sprint for the day? Like, is that just, you know?
I don't get great pleasure out watching them run up the hills, but I get a bit of satisfaction after the session knowing that we've done the work, and it's going to help us on the weekend. Well, it's going to help us when the season starts, I think.
Yeah. Mate, listen, we've really appreciated the opportunity to talk to you. Before we let you go, you've coached some of the greatest players the game's ever seen, Slater, Cronk, Smith, GI, you know. Is there one particularly that's, Folau, who stands just physically, like from a physically gifted perspective, the best you've coached?
Oh, I think physically, probably the most gifted physically that I've coached is probably been GI. A big man, could move, so smoothly, but could move quickly as well. And, he had a real footy brain as well, So I think he was the most, gifted player that I've coached. But, I couldn't split, especially the big three, they were just, whatever they got out of the game, that they deserved to get out of the game because that they really put the hard work in. And, it was a pleasure to coach them early in their careers. And I think I've said before, I think that they were coaching me at the end of their careers.
Mate, thank you very much. Lastly, how long are you coaching till?
This year, probably, especially if I have to have interviews with you, Blake.
Thanks, Craig.
Thanks, Craig.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
See you,
Lovely to
mate.
meet you.
Good on
Cheers.
you. Cheers.
Thanks a lot.